Welcome to WGVU's first ever broadcast of the women's basketball game between Hope and Calvin. The women's rivalry started in 1965 and the Calvin Knights lead the series 69-45. But it's the Hope Dutch that are on top this year. Their undefeated season includes 15 conference wins. The Knights are just 2 games back and would love nothing more than to break up their rivals' perfect season. Live from the Van Ord Arena, it's the Hope Flying Dutch versus the Calvin Knights.
Hope and Calvin have been playing college basketball, and while the men have been at it on the center stage, the women have been toiling in relative obscurity. That changes here this afternoon at Calvin. It's a women and men's basketball doubleheader here today on WGVU. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tom Cleary, along with Ryan Terpstra. Something new for us, Terp, the women who certainly deserve the stage. 2 great teams going at it here today as Hope tries to finish off an undefeated women's regular season.
Well, what a great opportunity for us to see some great basketball, Tom, because not only are we getting a chance to see a great rivalry, maybe one of the all-time great Hope teams as they're looking to go undefeated this season, and one of the great players in their history as well.
Well, it's Maura McAfee, who is a 1,000-rebound player. First time that's ever happened for the women. The great Floyd Brady, the only other Hope player that's ever done that. McAfee is really a presence out there. She's not only somebody who can board the ball, but she can step outside and hit a long shot, too.
That's right. She's 4th all-time, Tom, on Hope's career scoring list. She's scored in double figures in almost all of their games this year. She's a big force inside for them, and that's somebody Calvin has got to contend with if they want to stay close with Hope.
Well, Calvin's got to get it done through Anna Timmer today. She's probably their best tall player. She'll have to battle inside, and she'll have to provide a little bit more offense than she did in the first game, which was a big victory for Hope. The men's game today at around 3 o'clock should be a good one as well. Hope moving on perhaps toward a conference title if they can beat the Knights today. It's a men's and women's college basketball doubleheader. Hope and Calvin coming up next from Calvin right here on WGVU.
I'm Shelley Irwin. Join me for the WGVU Morning Show, weekday mornings on WGVU FM. For 2 hours each morning, you'll hear a variety of local and national guests tell their stories. Weekdays from 9 to 11 on WGVU FM, 88.5 Grand Rapids and 95.3 Muskegon.
At Hope, it's about challenging your mind. Hope. Learn it, love it, live it.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, this is Cassandra. And this is Spot.
She came to me with a name, Spot.
You knew that Spot was for you the minute you saw her.
I had to have her.
You could not find a better one.
Spot, you're doing good.
Find out how good of a dog Spot is next time on Antiques Roadshow from Charleston, South Carolina.
All right, so here we go with something new for us, the women's broadcast of Calvin Hope basketball here today on WGVU TV, along with Ryan Terpstra. Tom Cleary with you as we settle in for a long afternoon of hoops action. For Hope, they're playing for pride right now. They've got first place wrapped up in the league. They'll be the top seed in the postseason tournament. And certainly they're going to go on to the NCAA tournament, regardless of what happens in the next week or two. But for Calvin, Ryan, they've got to win this game. They need a big win to force their way up into the regional rankings and to have a shot at the NCAA tournament.
It's an interesting matchup. You mentioned Hope with a chance to have their 4th ever undefeated regular season. Calvin coming in as the underdog, but they're 19-5 overall. You're 13-2 in league, and you're a decided underdog. It's a little odd to see those kind of numbers, but it also is encouraging for the Knights because it does show that they have the talent to compete and hopefully use this home court advantage to maybe beat Hope, but they know the tall task that awaits them, Hope having won the first game already in a fairly decisive fashion so far this season.
Well, Calvin did beat Hope 3 times last year, so it's not beyond the realm of possibility, and it's a younger Calvin team, though. Maybe they will grow up here today. We are just about set for the national anthem, so let's go down to the floor now. The public address announcer, Dan Spoelstra.
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to please rise or remain standing. Gentlemen, please remove your caps and let us honor America and those who protect our freedom at home and abroad for the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, performed for us today by the South Christian High School Madrigals under the direction of Katie DeVries. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you to the South Christian High School Madrigals. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Van Ord Arena here on the campus of Calvin College, the home of Calvin Knights basketball. Today's conference game features our visitors, the Flying Dutch from Hope College, and your Calvin College Knights. Let's meet today's starting lineups. First for Hope College, starting at forward, she's a 6-foot senior from Midland, number 14, Maura McAfee. At forward for the Knights, she's a 5'9" sophomore from Holland Christian, number 15, Bree Lertzma. For Hope College, starting at forward, 6-foot junior from Winfield, Illinois, number 25, Mandy Traversa. At forward for the Knights, she's a 5'10" junior from South Christian, number 23, Anna Timmer. For the Flying Dutch at guard, wearing number 10, she's a 5'9" senior from Dorr, Autumn Anderson. At guard for the Knights, 5'8" sophomore from Worthington Christian, Ohio, number 4, Allie Spade. For Hope College, starting at guard, she's a junior, 5'9" from Eden Rapids, number 23, Elizabeth Perkins. At a guard for the Knights, wearing number 12, she's a senior, 5'10" from Holland Christian, Callie Verkuyk. And for the Flying Dutch at guard, 5'4" junior from Caledonia, number 24, Angelique Gaddy. And for your Knights at the other guard, she's a 5'7" senior from Vernon Hills, Illinois, number 20. Please say hello to Abby Springer. Head coach for Hope College is Brian Morehouse, and the head coach for Calvin is John Ross.
Well, we are about ready here as we get set for game number 1 in our contest today that we will be bringing you on WGVU TV. The women from Hope and Calvin. This will be, Ryan Terpstra, the 4th time this century, which hasn't been going on for all that long, for Hope to finish out an undefeated season if they're able to do so today.
It'll be very interesting to see how they come out, if that's pressure on the Flying Dutchmen or if that's something that they use to, maybe motivate them in a good way. Another interesting fact is that we've talked about Anna Timmer to begin with. A lot of former teammates out there today. She, a former teammate with Angelique Gaddy, who's going to run the point for Hope. A couple of South Christian players that know each other's games very well.
Well, here's Hope on the attack right away. And McAfee is a player who can score, but she's really a player that will do some other things as well. And Hope not able to get it down on their opening possession. Calvin quickly on the run, trying to spot up and free up Kelly Verkalk. And that is touched out of bounds. It'll be an uncomfortable entry here for Calvin, but they do so from the dead corner there, the apex. This is Spade, Allie Spade, the point guard. Calvin on the move quickly, and it's Timmer who gets the game's first basket.
Absolutely no fear there as Timmer goes right at McCaffrey. And I think that will be a point of emphasis for Calvin is if they can find a way to get McAfee in foul trouble, that would be an extremely big boost for the Knights. And if you know anything about Jim Timmer, Tom, you know that there will be no fear coming from Annette Timmer, his daughter. Yep,
she's a player who's playing against one of her high school friends here in this one. The guard, Angelique Gaddy for Hope, another player from South Christian. Here is Calvin coming inside. Now it's Timmer wearing the black leg guard, matched up against Traversa, who's a good player. This is a triple try on the way. That's a good block out all the way around for Hope there. And here comes Gaddy on the move now. Quickly on the dribble for the Dutch. McAfee is down in the low box right now. That's a nice turn and go. And it's the first bucket of the ball game, as Hope has tied it at 2.
It's a nice move by Elizabeth Perkins, kind of the forgotten player in the front court for the Dutch, but a really nice job there. Good rebound by Calvin on the offensive end, but Spade getting the ball knocked away by Gaddy, who did not let her go up for the easy shot.
Here's a drive to the basket. Calvin misses an easy shot there, and it was Abby Springer missing inside for the Knights, but Calvin gets it right back through Timmer. Timmer very nearly lost the basketball, but now Calvin trying to move quickly, and that was ill-advised, kind of a one-handed pass. It worked out okay as Calvin got the ball back, but McAfee makes the block, and both teams a little bit anxious in this one, Terp, at the offensive end, going a little bit too quickly. That's a nice move inside that will not produce a basket, though, for Hope's Autumn Anderson, the two-sport athlete. And now Calvin on the move again, and that's for Kalk.
We saw the block on the end there by McAfee. She's second all-time to carry Snickers and block shots for Hope basketball. Nice move by Verkijk, and she, along with the rest of the Calvin team, Tommy, I mean, we did see the missed layup earlier, but they seem to be getting to the basket fairly easy in the half-court offense so far against Hope.
Calvin is not playing like a team that's fearful of what's going to happen here today. And they pick off another rebound, and they're looking to go again, trying to get numbers here with Spade. This is Lertzema into the lane, little runner. She had more time and space than she realized. I think might have been playing for contact a little bit and shot it too hard. Then now Perkins ahead. Better movement here. Traversa. Finally McAfee from the low block missed the shot against very little pressure.
You like the look, though, going glass, a forgotten art in college basketball these days. Calvin looks like a team, Tom, that has a very precise plan that John Ross has put together for them, and that is set screens and get to the hole.
Well, Allie Spade did something very nice there. She's coming down the lane. She had a player open behind the arc, kind of looked over that way with her eyes and froze the defender, and then just kept going on her path right to the basket to get the goal. Calvin out early, 6-2 here. Hope's had some problems in the first 4 minutes here. And this is a triple try on the way that is through. And Hope getting a score from Autumn Anderson, her first three-pointer of the ball game.
McAfee with a good steal there. Calvin trying to push the issue, and she read it well. Gaddy, nice take to the hoop, just unable to convert.
And a whistle stopping the action here. Let's go back and take a look at that. Well, we thought we'd have that replay for you. And let's get a look at that shot moments ago by Anderson. Just spots up, gets the pressure, going to the basket, and moves to her spot and then knocks it down. So in a 6-5 ball game, some substitutions now on both sides as McAfee comes out to take the inbounds pass. And here's Gaddy, thought about a shot. Timmer on Gaddy, kind of surprising. And McAfee has an easy one inside. Well, she missed the shot, but she padded her rebound stats there, Terp, as she pulled down one that she shouldn't have been pulling down, one of her own misses from about a foot away.
Going a little Moses Malone on us there. She already has the all-time rebounding record at Hope, but maybe, you know, could add a few more just to make sure that that lead gets padded. But Hope seems to have settled down here, Tom. And I think that it has a little bit to do with Gaddy getting them down and getting good looks like there to McAfee, who nice shot block by Kelvin.
Well, Anna Timmer got caught ball watching there, and this is going to be a foul against Kelvin. I'm not really sure what was happening there with Lauren Goldthorpe. She just put her arm around the Hope player, Elizabeth Perkins. But a nice bit of work on the previous opportunity for Hope there, because McAfee saw that her player wasn't watching the ball, and she just backdoored and should have had a score. Now Hope uncharacteristically turning the ball over, pretty much an unforced error.
Kelvin with a lot of energy to start this game, and I think they maybe put Hope back on their heels a little bit. Seems like in the last couple possessions, though, the Dutch have settled down and know the offense that they want to run. Now it's a question of, can Kelvin continue to find the success that they've had early going to the basket?
This Goldthorpe going with the left hand, very nearly had an and-one opportunity there as she draws the foul from Perkins. And Brian Morehouse is not happy with the way this has gone in the early going. His team has been very much out of whack at the offensive end, and Kelvin's penetration has to concern him right now as well.
It would be interesting to see how long he continues to employ this man-to-man defense, because it seems like Hope is not helping very well right now, Tom. They're letting their defenders get beat one-on-one in the perimeter. Calvin pulling, and that was going to be a lane violation. Calvin pulling McAfee and Perkins away from the basket with their players. One way to combat that, though, if your Hope, is to go a sort of zone, keep your big people in the middle, protect the basket, make Calvin beat you with the long-range shot.
That's kind of an unforgivable sin for Calvin there at their own end. Just a silly free throw line violation. Now ball comes ahead for Calvin. They're going to step back out. That's a shot from inside the arc that spins out, and McAfee has another rebound, and here comes Gaddy. We'll see if Gaddy can push a little bit. Good work picking up, though. Kelvin got back. Mackenzie Shelton, 11's in the game right now, defending. Perkins guarded well there by Springer, but inside it comes. Can Hope hang on? They get it to McAfee, and she was right underneath the basket.
Sometimes you get lost when you're a big man, or a big woman in this case. You get a little too far underneath, you catch the ball, you know you got to go right up, or you're too far underneath.
And that's a triple that goes for Kelvin's Lauren Goldthorpe, maybe making up for the fact that she was robbed of a point the last time down. She hit a free throw that was wiped out by a lane violation. Terp, we're going to take a timeout right now. Kelvin on top in the early going. It's 10-5 today on WJVU TV.
WGVU has a new cool teacher. It's Miss Champion, 5th grade teacher at Galesburg Augusta Middle School in Augusta.
I nominated Miss Champion for the cool teacher because she has fun experiments and she makes everyone feel happy.
Check out WGVU.org to find out how you can enter the Cool Teacher Contest. Winners get a Papa John's pizza party for their class.
Thanks, WGVU!
The Cool Teacher Contest is sponsored by these organizations.
On Masterpiece.
You push in here into my home in order to call me a grubby little gold digger. You've got a nerve.
I wouldn't like to see this family dragged into a local brouhaha.
I'm not as simple as I used to be. My life is not as simple.
Downton Abbey. On Masterpiece.
I don't want to do things halfway. I want to do them all the way. When I decide to do something, I really go all in. Part of this might be a bit of the Calvinist spirit that's been instilled in me. I don't know, like the desire to really just dive into a field, to go as far as you can into it. That's being faithful to yourself and your abilities that God has given you.
So after the timeout, Calvin here in the first period playing pretty well, leading against Hope by the score of 10-5, and Calvin's on the ball right now. And what do we have here?
I think we have a clock issue.
Malfunction there. Did this not start back up, or what happened?
They're checking the time on the clock.
I think it did start.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you when the first horn.
Well, new broadcast for us, Tom, but also new to have a television timeout for some of the scorekeepers that normally work this game.
Well, if these coaches were ever to get used to this, they'd find it does change the rhythm of the game a little bit. And we've seen it before, Ryan, where coaches obviously will wait for the television timeouts. Generally, when you see teams that are getting their games all televised, they've got a log jam of timeouts. It seems like coaches never have to call timeouts anymore. They just wait for the media stoppage.
And that's something I remember from last year. Kevin Vanderstreet for Calvin, very used to using the TV timeouts. It was Greg Mitchell's first year. You're just not used to it because only 2 games out of your year do you have that luxury, I guess you could say, of knowing when a timeout is coming.
Calvin's going to have to get a shot off here. They will from distance, and it's very nearly down, but it's pulled down by Hope's Allison Hedrick, who's in there right now in the backcourt, and here comes Gaddy on the move. Gaddy shuffled the feet a little bit. Moved to the basket. Ball knocked out. A reach in there by Mackenzie Shelton. Knocked that shot attempt out of bounds. Took a risk there. Came right across the ball, though, and able to save a layup.
It's the second time that Madison Gears has caught the ball. Her defenders run past her. She's gotten to the hole, but on the first attempt, the shot that she passed off to McAfee was missed, and there she got it blocked. You would think that clean passage, they'd have better luck, but not so far.
That's a better bit of action inside for Hope, getting the bucket from Francesca Buchanan. And I think really she's the wild card for this team today. She's had a great scoring average. Nice bucket at the other end by Brie Lertsema.
And there's Calvin back to the press after every make. Well, now they're pulling it back. They were running a 1-2-2 off of made buckets, I think off the timeout. Then John Ross decided to pull it back.
Buchanan, the substitute, was the leading scorer for Hope in the first game win. That ball was touched a little bit on the release, but it's an easy putback there. And Hope starting to assert itself. Jacqueline Schwark inside, scoring for the first time, and now we're at 12-9.
There's the size of Hope, who not only starts 2 very tall players, but can bring in 2 very tall players off the bench. That's something that the Calvin Knights cannot match, Tom. A couple more substitutes in the game. Hope subbing very liberally so far in this one. And remember, we're in quarters now with women's college basketball. It's not a minute, 2 minutes left in the half. But there you see the nice tap by Hope, almost like a play where it ends up in Schwark's hands and she's able to get the lay-in.
Well, we saw in that replay, Timmer was the only player in a good rebounding position for Calvin. And now Hope gets it going again. Little runner from the lane is too hard, and Calvin gets the ball back. Paris Madison missed a shot for the Dutch there. 2:25 left in the period. Calvin trying to work it inside through Abby Springer. She got almost all the way to the hole and then turned it back out.
I thought she might have had a chance to go up with it. Decided to dish it out. She did miss that layup to start the game, Tom. Possibly that's weighing on her mind a little bit, but if you get that close, you have to be able to try and go up strong with the shot.
Erkolik with the turnover there for Calvin. So now Calvin comes with full court pressure against this team largely made up of substitutes right now for Hope. That looked to me like it might have been a high dribble, maybe a travel. And here comes Hope with Hedrick. Shot from the outside is going to be rebounded by Calvin. Timmer did well there, and somebody got smacked in the face, and I think it might be Buchanan. Let's see which way this foul goes. They're going to call the foul against Calvin's Brie Lertsema.
Yeah, it was pretty much a pile up. Looked like a rugby pile down there for the rebound. You know, John Ross is telling his team everyone's got to crash the boards to make sure that we can defend against the dual 6-footers that are out there for Hope right now.
Going to watch how Buchanan is defended when she is in the game, because if she's able to get position, she's going to make it very, very tough. It's a triple try on the way. Little slight push there by Hedrick to get that long rebound. Undetected from our officials here today. Hope still trying to find the keys from the outside, not getting it, and that's a great rebound there by Calvin's Verkalk.
Yeah.
And here comes Calvin on the move again. All in all, it's been a pretty good period for the Knights against this undefeated team. Had a look from 3, instead driving to the lane, just not able to finish as Goldthorpe.
She's had such a good game off the bench too, and that was a great decision to not take the shot with the hand in her face. Got all the way, but unfortunately not able to convert. And there's Paris Madison with that nice little mid-range J that the starter Angelique Gaddy does so well. Her backup also showing that same move.
That's a good move for a point player because you're going to get stopped in the lane sometimes. And what do we have here? It's going to be a hand check, I think, against Paris Madison of Hope. The officials here today, I think we mentioned Natalie Queen, Jenna Schroeder, Brian Gould. Let's take a look at that last play as we see the bucket at the other end from Paris Madison.
Calvin doing a really good job with the shot fake off the perimeter and getting to the hole, Tom. You would think that maybe Hope, after giving up so many layup opportunities, might encourage them to take one from 20 feet instead of 2.
Here's McAfee out on the perimeter guarding against Brie Lertzma, who gives the ball up and then goes down into the hole. So Calvin's got an idea of who they want to have handling it. Nice move inside, little up and under move. Shot just not there, though, for Allie Spade, who got free. And Madison looking to run again. There's that high dribble, ran into the defensive player, picks up the charge call. Now, I'm not so sure about the charge. I think it might have been a turnover before that. So all in all, Calvin probably gets what they deserve on that particular play. Is back into the contest comes Angelique Gaddy, and those two are almost twin-like out there. You can barely tell them apart, and they play almost the identical game.
Same ponytail. Both have the number 2 on their jerseys, and both love to push the ball forward. So when you play the same position and you both have 2 guys, 2 players that represent a similar style, Hope likes to see that, but Madison out of control there, unfortunately, and that's why Gaddy's back in the ball game.
Spade still looking to go. Spade does it well, and she draws the foul this time. Nice work again by Spade against Allison Hedrick, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2 and have an opportunity to pad her team's lead here in the final seconds of period number 1. Hope coming in 24-0, 15-0 in the MIAA. Calvin has lost just twice this year in league play, 19-5 overall. Spade with a good look at that one. Nice rotation, and she hits from the free throw line. A little bit long on this one, and that ball is corralled there by Mandy Traversa. Let's see if Hope can get one off before the end of the period. I'm not sure that Gaddy realized how little time was left. Oh, she gets inside, drives and scores. Well, she knew exactly how much time was remaining.
With about 5 seconds at half court, you and I were thinking the exact same thing, Tom, but what a move by Angelique Gaddy, who almost seemed to slow the clock down as she got to the hole.
Tie game after 1, 13-13 in the women's contest here today on WGVU.
Hi, I'm Paula Kerger, President and CEO of PBS. Thank you for supporting WGVU, which is leading the way for public media by engaging on the issues and topics that matter most to this community. I want to encourage you to become a sustaining member of WGVU. It's the easiest and simplest way to support the programs you love and enable WGVU to continue their vital work. Visit our website at wgvu.org/sustain. From all of us at PBS and WGVU, thank you for your support.
At Hope, it's more than just a game. Hope. We live for this.
All right, second period action coming. Calvin actually dominated for large stretches of the first quarter here in this contest, but Hope fought back, and that buzzer beater by Angelique Gaddy, her first bucket of the game. tying it at 13. And interesting part of that first period was no points for Maura McAfee. She did have some rebounds, but Calvin did a pretty good job of stifling her inside.
Well, she had some good looks, Tom, just unable to convert. Hope starting off the game horribly, 2 for 11, only 18% shooting. They were able to get things together a little bit after that, still only up to 28% though. But Calvin just unable to make some conversions at the rim. I know they were probably a little bit disappointed that they missed some opportunities there. And their defense, though, has really caused Hope some problems. Hope has missed some opportunities and also turned the ball over in some spots where you know that Brian Morehouse would like to see a little bit more care taken of the basketball.
I think what the official is doing right now is talking to both coaches, and it seems to me, and I'm just guessing here, Terp, they're making some sort of adjustment to let people know how many timeouts that they have available themselves during the contest.
Well, that would be the quarter break, so that doesn't affect anything, but into the second quarter, what's the count for both sides is probably something each coach wants to know.
There was a long triple try that didn't go down for Spade of Calvin, and Hope now with a chance to take a lead. McAfee is in the high post. Gaddy, now McAfee again. Guarded pretty closely by Lertzma. They've done well against here, and this is Gaddy trying to make it 2 in a row, but there's McAfee, and this is what she does. Offensive rebounding. If you're a great rebounder with a great total, it's usually because you're good at the offensive end as well as the defensive end. And McAfee got an offensive board there and then turned it into a score.
And the first lead for the Dutchmen, who are third in the nation, but haven't had a chance to go ahead in this ball game up until now.
Calvin getting a little bit jammed up at the offensive end. This is Gaddy. That was a force, and wouldn't you know, an air ball comes right into the hands of Mandy Traversa, who gets her first bucket on the little reverse and banged into a Calvin player pretty hard coming back up the floor.
You know, John Ross, Calvin's coach, has got to be feeling kind of sick when he sees his defense hold or Hope misses an open shot, and the offensive rebound has been going right to Hope, and they've been able to put it in. Their bigs, McAfee and Traversa, are just too long for what Calvin has up front. And even boxing out, Calvin has sometimes not been able to corral the rebound.
I'm not really sure why it is, but in college basketball now, air balls almost always turn out badly for the defensive team, not the offensive team. It used to be in the old days, the ball would just sail out of bounds. Now you've got kids that are quick and athletic, don't give up on it. The baseline is part of the pattern much more often now with college offenses. So you always have somebody kind of down there looking for the table scraps, and that one appeared for Traversa, and she knew what to do with it. After that foul call, I thought that might have been a situation where we'd have shots coming up, but they say a common foul, and here comes Calvin again. It's Spade going left hand. She's been down there. She's just got to get a little more square to the basket and drop those shots. Hope can extend here. Gaddy on it. 14 is McAfee. Inside is the point guard Gaddy, and Anna Timmer cleans up that one. Timmer really hasn't had much in the way of offensive opportunities. Calvin again, tough shot made there by Abby Springer.
She is clearly a lefty, and her defender even played her to go back to the left hand, which she did, but she still made the shot. Very nice move by Abby.
Yeah, she was a good 6-8 feet away from the basket, but measured it properly, and Calvin now back to within 2. McAfee, kind of a little scissors play off the high post. That is a shot that Calvin blocked out on well, but just didn't go after the ball.
Calvin almost so committed to trying to box out and put a body on someone that no one looked for the basketball there. And it fell right back to Hope, and Elizabeth Perkins had a chance to maybe make something happen, but unfortunately the ball got kicked away.
This is McAfee at the free throw line looking to go inside. No, they got a hand on that ball. It was a good play made by Springer, who reached in again and bothered that shot attempt by McAfee. And here comes Springer to the front court.
Yeah, Hope's defense has been struggling, but Calvin's has been doing very well so far to start this game. Unfortunately, in trying to attack McAfee, Timmer ended up traveling in that instance.
I couldn't see the footwork on that play, Ryan, but it looked to me like she kind of lunged a little bit toward McAfee trying to get the foul, but it didn't work out. Here's Calvin Hawking in the front court. Verkuyk out there doing some work, and Timmer ends up with the basketball. So Calvin again as we tick down towards 7 minutes till halftime with a chance once again to tie. And this time with the right hand. Springer was right there, just couldn't finish.
They were waiting for her to go left. She pulled up with the right, had a nice clean look, just a little bit too strong there. But it's good to see that she has that in her arsenal so that the defense can't play her only one way.
Well, Calvin is defending pretty well. They have chasing beautifully, working hard against McAfee. That shot won't go. Calvin lets the ball hit the floor. That means you've gotten a good team block out. And here come the Knights again. And it's Springer on the left-handed dribble. 3-point attempt on the way, and Calvin takes the lead through Tiffany Carter.
Calvin not really very effective from the outside yet. That's their second triple of the game, but they will be very happy to see that coming from Carter off the bench.
Well, just as soon as Calvin gets the lead, they relinquish it as Hope comes back and scores at the other end through Gaddy. Now Calvin again, another 3-point attempt, and this is a ball that cannot be saved.
Early in the shot clock, that's not the attempt that John Ross wants to see. And I think Springer's going to take a seat and he'll have a chat with her about selection there. But another nice move by Gaddy, who was a very, very prolific high school player, but then suffered a knee injury. So she actually has not played very much in this rivalry due to that knee injury she suffered last year.
Well, here's a takeaway by Calvin. Becomes a foot race right now. And taking the little jumper off glass. Beautifully done there by Lauren Goldthorpe.
If you're a young player, watch what she did there. She knew she was going up against a bigger defender, and rather than trying to force it up, she just pulled up and used the glass, and the defender can't do anything about it. And the Calvin pressure coming through again.
This is just a clear-cut breakaway, and it didn't look pretty, but it went down for Brie Lertzma.
I can see Morehouse looking to see what time is there, and he decided, I'm not waiting for the TV timeout. I need to take one on my own. And now it looks like they will call it a TV timeout, so he knew that he was able to get the free look and free talk to his team.
We'll take a break right now. More to come here today from Calvin with the Knights on top, surprisingly.
So I've been a worship leader here on campus. Those of us leading are just trying to bring the rest of the congregation with us into the presence of God. It doesn't matter who we are in a sense, like we're all together as one praising God. And I don't know, that's a really cool communal thing. You know, I have a very real sense of this is what I was made to do, and I can glorify him with this, and he loves it and he loves me.
People are looking for more light and less heat. Washington Week viewers are going to get it straight ahead, and that's what they count on us for. We want to let you know what the information is, and then you decide what you want to think. That's what I think is unique about public broadcasting. There's nothing else like it out there.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
All right, as we try to sort out the timeout situation, let's go back and look at some of the replays. It's that triple we saw from Tiffany Carter, Ryan.
Yeah, big shot from her off the bench, second three of the game for Calvin. And here's the pressure. Gaddy has the ball tipped. There's Brie Lertzma taking it away, and she finishes on the other end. The Calvin defense has been the story so far in my eyes, Tom.
McAfee trying to duck inside. Nice move there. Finally got away from Brie Lertzma. Second basket for Morup McAfee with 4 points now. And at the other end, that is a triple that goes. And once again, it's Carter.
Well, this is her first chance to get into the ball game. She's come out gunning. Great to see no fear from her, hoisting up 2 shots, and she's nailed both of them.
Hope is a team, you can tell they're a little more geared to go inside because they've got tall people. But you'll find out you can't trade 3 for 2s very often.
Well, there's McAfee stepping out. Don't often see a 6-footer like her hang out behind the line, but she decided to fire away.
Well, I saw McAfee play earlier this year, and she is a player that will shoot from out court a little bit given the opportunity. That ball is very nearly saved by Calvin. Bounced off a Hope player, but McAfee got it before it went out of bounds. That is a block and a basket.
You could see that coming because the Calvin defender, Mackenzie Shelton, was trying to get in position, but she tried after the ball had been picked up, and that's going to be a blocking call all day long. Very nice play there from Allison Hedrick.
Hedrick now with a chance to complete the three-point play as McAfee goes out again, and it's Francesca Buchanan back into the contest. Boy, here's Buchanan. She is such an impressive looking young player for Hope and has been throughout the year. Should have had a bucket there, had it spin out on her. Now the held ball, which results in possession for Hope. Yeah. So it's a real advantage that Morehouse has, Ryan, because when he is able to spell McAfee, he brings in a player who's maybe even more proficient at the offensive end, and it's just a real tough guard for the Calvin team or anybody else.
Well, the rich get richer. McAfee's a senior. She'll be graduating. Buchanan's a freshman. She could even be growing conceivably. Already 6 feet, and a freshman out of Sparta that looks very strong on both ends of the ball. But Calvin showing a lot of heart. I mean, they do not really have a player in their rotation that's 6 feet tall. Meanwhile, Hope has 4, and yet the Knights still standing strong against them inside, tying up Buchanan in that instance.
Yeah, they get the held ball, so they get it back, and that's the way they have to play, because once the ball goes up in the air, they're at a disadvantage. So they've got to play the game on the floor. This is Timmer inside. Good jump stop there, just a bit hard on the shot. And now Hope looking to go again. And on the run they come with Hedrick. Good ball movement, skipped across Buchanan. Had it touched away, fought for it. Nice hands there by the tall player. Buchanan showing a real nice basketball presence on that possession.
Well, she'll learn to keep the ball a little bit higher as her career goes around, but you can't teach second effort, and that's what she showed on that play, able to pick up the loose ball and get the bucket.
Just the kind of play you'd see from somebody who scored a few goals. She knew where she was, had to get rid of it quickly, and just held her poise, scooped it up, and now she's guarding at the other end.
I think that's a turnover by Calvin. Doesn't get called, but the ball doesn't lie either. It ends up in Hope's hands anyway.
And the second time lucky for Hope as we tick down toward 3 minutes remaining. Calvin's going to make a substitution. Let's see if they look for Buchanan. Instead, they go for 3. And that's rebounded nicely by Lertsema, who draws the foul from Buchanan. Pretty impressive first half by Lertsema. She's done some good work down in the trenches.
She has really played well. She's been in the middle of their press. She's had some knockaways and some steals. She also is tasked with going in there and rebounding for them at only 5'9", battling with the 6-footers from Hope. She's done a good job, and she and Anna Timmer need to play strong for Calvin down low, because every time a shot goes up on the Hope offensive end, it is a battle to get it back, and Calvin has been kind of drawing even with Hope so far, I would say.
Tied at 25 here with 2:45 to go. Calvin trying to get that bucket. That looked like a trip there going through the lane. I don't know how everybody missed that one. Calvin, though, somehow comes out of there with the basketball. Triple on the way and down.
Timmer had time to set her feet. She lined up. She knew she wanted it. And that's the result you expect from a college player who gets a nice look like that.
Buchanan from about 12, and you can just tell she's starting to warm to it here. Buchanan early on with 6 points to lead her team off the bench.
She's been their most effective big. McAfee has struggled with her shot. Buchanan has stepped up, but unfortunately fouls, I think, are going to end up sending her down to the bench.
Well, Maura McAfee is going to come in right now again. We've had 4 lead changes and 3 ties, and Buchanan, well, she stopped herself because Calvin wasn't stopping her, but she's picked up a couple of quick fouls.
Calvin finding the range in this quarter too, Tom. They only had 1 to begin with, and then since the second quarter started, they've knocked down 3 3-pointers. I think Hope wanted to see them shoot from the outside, but it hasn't turned out too well for them. And there's Timmer on the inside.
Well, Timmer did well. She sealed off the defender, and they got a good entry pass. Calvin thought they'd had a turnover in the backcourt, but the Knights aren't going away. It's 30-27 here with under 90 seconds, under 2 minutes, I should say, remaining in the first half. 1:59 on the clock here, and Calvin's coming with the full court pressure.
And there's a smart play by John Ross, getting Timmer out of the game for just a small part of time. She has a foul. He doesn't want to see her picking up any foul trouble, and she's been an important cog in this Calvin lineup.
This is Kelly Verkuyk, I think, who picked up the foul there for Calvin. And we haven't seen a lot of fouls called in this contest. Neither team will get to the bonus here in the first half, I don't think.
No, it's been pretty cleanly played by both sides.
That is a major league three, and I got to wonder about the range of Mandy Traversa there. That was almost out to the end, and Calvin on the logo on the floor, which I would think for most players is, you know, a bridge too far. That's out there ways. That's going to be a push off. Do they call that? It was just the tiniest of shoves against Verkuyk when she kind of lost the ball, but it was a good call, I believe, that was made there by Natalie Queen, the referee.
There is the bump, and Verkuyk was protecting the basketball, but normally you see a very large extension of the arm when they call that foul. I didn't really see that there, Tom.
Here's McAfee again. McAfee's got more time than I think than she realizes. There's nobody who's going to really contest her shot. She's just hurried a couple of times.
I think she might be in her own head a little bit. She missed her opening layup. She had another one off the bottom of the backboard. Someone that's not in their own head, though, has been Goldthorpe, who has really played a nice game off the bench so far today.
She's got 9 points now, Ryan. Her team is up 6 with a little over a minute to go. And again, a layup spins out, this time for Gaddy. So Calvin is upping the ante. And Hope has just not been able to hit a lot of these shots inside. But if you're the Knights, you got to feel great about what's happened so far, because they don't seem bowed at all by the team they're playing. I don't think that it's in their mind that they're playing a team that's 24-0 and is a big favorite to beat them.
You see the shot by Goldthorpe, and Hope backing off because Calvin's done such a great job getting to the hole. So she just pulls up and bangs the three right there. If she's able to do that, that really puts a lot of pressure on the Dutchman defense. Meanwhile, Gaddy just showing a smart decision maker at the point guard position, knows her team's on their heels a little bit. She goes right to the hole, attacks it, draws the foul, gets to settle them down with some free throws.
Gaddy has missed twice, though, and that's a rebound for Calvin's Allie Spade, who's back on now.
Under a minute, and it looks like Calvin's going to go into the lead at half, and they've got to be feeling very good about the way they've played this entire first half.
Shelton is on right now. Springer. We also see Goldthorpe out there. Calvin might be able to get 2 for 1 here. Let's see. I don't think it's going to happen now. That ball came back to Calvin, luckily, and now they finally turn it over. The Calvin player, Mackenzie Shelton, just ran out of room on the baseline. Hope looking to run. Will they take the first good shot they get? Perhaps so. Gaddy inside. Didn't get there. Calvin able to save it, and now the Knights can hold it for 1 if they so desire. Calvin's going a little bit quickly right now. They want to put the ball into the hands of one of the guards, and now that's Spade. I don't think John Ross really indicated one shot, but his players now realize the situation with the clock. Calvin doesn't really need to do anything. Spade looking to go with the left hand's not going to get it up there, and it's an easy rebound for McAfee, and the first half will end on that note. So Calvin playing very well here against the undefeated team from Holland. It's Calvin on top at the half by the score of 33-27. Francesca Buchanan had 6 off the bench to lead Hope. And it was Lauren Goldthorpe, another bench player, scoring 9 points early on as we get set to go down to Ryan Terpstra.
Very much, Tom. I'm here with John Ross, and you guys having the lead here at halftime looks to be the result, Coach, of the strategy that you want to employ defensively from the outset of this one.
Well, we've done a nice job in the press so far. They're really forcing us into some tough shots. They're still rebounding the ball better than we are, so we've got a lot of things that we can do, but, you know, Hope's a tough team, and 20 long minutes to go yet.
You've gotten some great contributions off your bench. must be very pleasing for you as a coach to see that in a rivalry game like this.
Oh yeah, definitely. Lauren Goldthorpe is playing great right now. I mean, she's coming off of 3 years of injuries, and it's really good to see her, and she's been the spark for us.
All right, good luck in the second half, Coach. Go back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Ryan. A little bit of a surprise here through the first 20 minutes of this one. Calvin led early, but Hope fought back to tie 13-13 after one. But then the Knights outscoring the Dutch by 6 in the second period to lead at the intermission 33-27. We'll take a break right now. We'll come back with more today from Calvin College here on WGVU.
Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a worrier. When I was a freshman in high school, I was already like, where am I going to go to college? What am I going to do? I started playing the violin when I was in 6th grade, but my interests were in science, so I wasn't sure if I could do both. I took some Spanish courses here when I was in high school, and I love the professors, I love the atmosphere, and when I was touring for other schools, like I just kept thinking of Hope, so I just chose Hope. It seemed like the logical choice.
Maria came to Hope College like many students do. Eager to learn, eager to explore.
Do I pursue biology? Do I pursue computer science? Do I go to grad school, med school? Do I just go to work?
She immediately sort of gave you an impression of this is somebody who really was excited about being at Hope College and about being in college, and really interested in doing something. So she was part of a learning group program that we have where we have students come in and sort of do science right off the bat. So their first day in college, they come into lab and they just kind of get right into a research project.
Doing a student-faculty collaborative research program really allowed her to see those powerful connections between fields of science. One of the things we really encourage them to do is take advantage of opportunities outside the classroom.
I had the opportunity to be a part of the Howard Hughes Medical Institute XROT program.
It gives students opportunities to go into sort of high-powered labs around the country.
We got to work in one of the labs and interact with scientists. We got to do some of the techniques and use some of the equipment they use every day to make these outstanding discoveries. I've been part of different midterms through the biology department. I got to go to the Galapagos in Ecuador 2 summers ago, and then I got to go to Tanzania last summer.
She went with a group of students with a faculty member, and they were embedded for a number of weeks.
We got to see animals, interact with people from the community.
This gives them real-world experience in another culture.
Part of the liberal arts experience at Hope really provides students with the opportunity to explore things around and outside of their area of focus. I decided to keep going with violin even though I wasn't a music major. I don't feel like I have to give up part of myself to pursue something else. Everything comes together, and that's something that I really value.
One of the beautiful things about setting one's learning inside a faith tradition is that gives students and faculty the freedom to ask questions about how does faith impact one's calling, one's vocation, one's future.
I recently received an offer from a company in San Francisco.
She came not knowing quite what she wanted to study.
And so what Hope has provided is sort of many opportunities for gaining different types of experiences.
These experiences that we hope all of our students have are preparing them for a very bright future.
I'm really excited to see my software skills be used to help solve problems that people encounter every day. I'm really excited to see where it takes me.
Ever wonder why the prophets of the Bible wrote about how many ways human life had gone wrong? It's because they knew how many ways human life can go right. These prophets dreamed of a time when God would put things right again. Perhaps you do too. Christ calls us to make a difference on this earth. We need knowledge, skills, and attitudes that seek God and the goodness He intended. So, as a Christ-centered college, we learn what we can about creation itself. We learn the functions and beauty of numbers and sets of numbers. We study history and develop judgment. We learn through art to delight in sheer beauty. Because of this, we become equipped. Of course, we become equipped for jobs, but more importantly, we are equipped for callings and lives that aim to restore some part of the lost loveliness of God's world. Doing this work is not easy. It requires courage. Courage to fearlessly lean into the tension of the world. It's going from interested to invested, from curious to courageous, from possible to unstoppable. When fear is taken out of the equation, you're free to explore all that God calls you to. Write that chapter, hit that note, add that catalyst. It's time for you to walk boldly and to be equipped in Christ for the things that clean and clarify, that build and rebuild, that bring light and delight to the world. It's time to develop a confidence that will frustrate your fears. It's time to pursue your passions. It's time to imagine the world right again.
Here today at Calvin College, the home side on top in game number 1, the women's contest here today on WJVU. It's 33-27 at the intermission. That despite a disparity in the rebounding. Hope, with the taller team, doing the job on the glass, 29 rebounds to 18 for Calvin. But the reason for that is even though both teams have made 13 goals in the contest, Hope has taken 10 additional shots, which is why they've got so many more rebounds. They have not been scoring with the proficiency that we've seen from them much of the year, just 32% in the first half, and Calvin unleashed an outside attack as the time ticked away in the second quarter. 4 of their last 5 goals in the second period for the Knights were 3-pointers, a couple from Carger, and Timmer had one. Also Lauren Goldthorpe, who led her team with 9 points. Calvin also got 7 in that period. In the first half, from Timmer, 6 from Carter, both on threes. And for Hope College, the leading scorer so far is the substitute Francesca Buchanan with 6 points off the bench, but she also collected a couple of fouls. Madison has 2 fouls as well for Hope. Gaddy had 4 points, and Maura McAfee 4 points to go along with 9 rebounds. Turnovers very even, 9-8. 9 for Hope, 8 for Calvin. But the Knights on top here by the score of 33-27, thanks to 20 points in the second 10 minutes of our contest here today, as both teams now start to head out onto the court to get their warm-ups in for the second half. We'll take a break right now. We'll come back, and Ryan Terpstra will be chatting, I think, with Coach Morehouse of Hope. We'll do that when we come back after this.
Do you want to explore new worlds? Become a WGVU Explorer and join me, Michael Walenta, WGVU General Manager, on a trip to the magnificent cities of Central and Eastern Europe. This exciting 14-day tour departs Grand Rapids on September 18, 2016. View the full itinerary online at wgvu.org/explorers. For more information and to reserve your spot, call WGVU at 800-442-2771 or email explorers@wgvu.org.
Tus programas favoritos de PBS, listos para verlos cuando tú lo estés, en cualquier momento y cualquier lugar. Descubre más formas de explorar como nunca antes en pbs.org/anywhere.
At Hope, it's about life-changing experiences. Hope. Live it.
Still a few minutes away from second half action here today at Calvin in the women's contest. Right now it's the 24-0 Flying Dutch of Hope trailing against their arch rival, the Knights of Calvin. 33-27 at the intermission. Let's take a look at how Calvin was able to get it done. That is Timmer spinning inside for one of her baskets, the veteran player. And we saw Calvin really turn it up defensively. That takeaway and steal by Calvin's Brie Lerchema resulting in a bucket. At the other end for Hope, not many triples found the mark, but that one did for Autumn Anderson. And then later, the drive, the bucket, and the foul. Allison Hedrick with the score there. We talked about bad break on that particular play, a miss by Gaddy right into the hands of Traversa for a reverse layup, and then the Knights again going from distance, and that was Tiffany Carger, who hit 2 long balls in the first half to help Calvin to that 6-point lead, which they now enjoy at halftime. It's 33-27. I want to remind you that the men's game will start here at approximately, we're going to say about 3 o'clock. We expect to be right on the money for that one. The tip-off today, the final regular season game on Senior Day involving Calvin and Hope. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with Ryan Terpstra and Brian Morehouse after this.
Do you want to explore new worlds? Become a WGVU Explorer and join me, Michael Walenta, WGVU General Manager, on a trip to the magnificent cities of Central and Eastern Europe. This exciting 14-day tour departs Grand Rapids on September 18, 2016. View the full itinerary online at wgvu.org/explorers. For more information and to reserve your spot, call WGVU at 800-442-2771 or email explorers@wgvu.org.
Tus programas favoritos de PBS, listos para verlos cuando tú lo estés, en cualquier momento y cualquier lugar. Descubre más formas de explorar como nunca antes en pbs.org/anywhere.
At Hope, it's about life-changing experiences. Hope. Live it.
Welcome back to our broadcast of Calvin versus Hope. Hope going in with a deficit at halftime and with their coach Brian Morehouse. What did you guys talk about in terms of adjustments for your team, coach?
I thought we talked about calming down a little bit. I thought we had 2 spurts where we didn't handle their press real well. I didn't think we made them pay with our bigs as well as we should have in that half. So hopefully we'll do that in the second half and keep up our rebounding, tighten up our defense a little bit.
That is one positive. Your bigs did out-rebound well. That's probably something you're looking to build on in the second half.
Yeah, we got to finish some shots around the rim. We're going to do it. We got great players in those spots. They got to slow down and just finish what they got.
All right, good luck in the second half, Coach. Thank you. All right, Tom, we'll head back to you.
All right, Ryan, and I think that's what we talked about, particularly with McAfee, who is not a huge scorer per se, but she should have more opportunities in a game like this when she's generally going to be the tallest player in the paint out there for either side. A little bit bothered by the early pressure, and I think Ryan mentioned early on she missed a layup right at the outset of the game, and McAfee just 2 out of 10 from the floor. She did manage to get 9 rebounds, but the player that Calvin seemed to have the most difficulty with was the freshman Buchanan when she was in. Had she not gone out after her second foul, I think the picture might be a little bit different here. She was just finally starting to hit her stride at the offensive end when she picked up 2 quick fouls, and Brian Morehouse playing it safe, getting her out of the game. We're going to see a lot more of her, obviously, though, in the second half. So Hope will have the ball to start quarter number 3 here as the clock ticks away, and we are about ready to go for the final 20 minutes of the last regular season game of the MIAA season for these 2 teams. They'll both be playing next week in the action that will take place at Hope.
It's going to be interesting to see, I think, the dynamic of the crowd a little bit here, Tom, as many people are arriving for the men's game at 3 o'clock. They show up, and
Calvin's leading undefeated Hope at the break. They could get an extra spark in the second half from the hometown crowd.
I don't think Calvin looks out of place at all, but this time the ball goes into McAfee. That was a great help by Springer. And which way is this one going to go? It's going to go to Hope. Nice double down there in the block, and that's what they need. If they're going to bring a player in front, you need that backside help, and Calvin's provided it against McAfee so far.
Yeah, Springer knocked the ball out, but Timmer fell on her elbow, and she's shaking it. I wonder if that could affect her on the offensive end, because that is her right arm, her shooting arm.
Boy, again, there you see an air ball, and then well, no, they're not going to call the foul. It looked to me like when the ball was retrieved by Gaddy there that she was bumped.
It didn't look like it. She was, Tom. I mean, Callie Verkuyk knocked her out of bounds, and the referees just said, nope, going the other way. Obviously allowing the physical play to take place in this rivalry game.
Timmer handing off. This is Springer now. Trying to get back to her left hand, not able to do so, and just a loose pass. And that's the kind of thing that drives coaches crazy, and it happens a lot in the college game now because of the arc, Ryan. People throwing the ball backwards in the offensive zone, and players really not expecting it. People tend to become spectators when the ball's going in closer to the basket. That's what happened that time.
Springer had the step going right, but she just wasn't comfortable, forced herself back left, and then realized she had to pass and ended up with the turnover. I thought that Springer got her arm in there on McAfee, but they end up calling the foul. I thought that they tied her up pretty well there, but McAfee, who, as you pointed out at halftime, Tom, has 9 rebounds. She's a double-double machine. She just needs to get the points aspect of the double-double back into it, and maybe going to the free throw line is going to help her do that.
Laura McAfee, the 1,000 rebounder for her career, and she got a good start on the quest to get to 1,100 here today. She makes 2 free throws there. McAfee with 6 points now in the contest. Calvin with Allie Spade. Here's Springer.
Calvin ended that second quarter, Tom. 4 out of their last 5 baskets were threes. You're not going to shoot that well coming out in the third, but it'll be interesting to see how Hope defends them.
Springer gets the baseline with that left hand, but she stepped on the end line down there. She was going to lose the ball anyway. Calvin now not adjusting too well to what Hope has done here in the first 90 seconds. They have not had a real good look at the basket here in quarter number 3. And quickly on the move is Autumn Anderson, looking to go all the way down. Hope passed up a triple shot, and instead Elizabeth Perkins ducks inside for 2.
I know Brian Morehouse had a talk with his team at half, but maybe they watched some Calvin tape from the first half with the shot fakes and then getting to the basket, and then the help side defense. Hope looks like a totally different team coming out of the halftime.
Well, Hope steps on the sideline. Brian Morehouse felt his team was a little bit out of control there, and on that last possession, really not a good shot taken by Calvin. A long triple very early in the clock, so that shows you a little bit of frustration for the Knights now.
You start with a couple of turnovers, and then you want to make something happen, but that is not what you're looking for if you're Calvin.
Good reach in that time by Anderson on Timmer, forced a missed shot. And here's McAfee out ahead of the pack, and she took steps, they're going to say, which that's a tough call. Usually they would call that a jump stop in the old days, and you'd let the player come down, but it was 2 long steps. And the referee makes the decision to give the ball back to Calvin here with 7:47 left in the third.
I think Calvin just needs to try and get to the rim, maybe at all costs in this instance. They need to try and draw a foul or something. They're getting totally out of the sync. And just like that, I guess Mackenzie Shelton was listening to me, because she went right there, and the seas parted for her for the easy opportunity.
Yeah, that's a big bucket for Calvin. No doubt about it. Traversa for 3 on the way. Some bumping inside, but the size belongs to Hope, and now we have a whistle that stops the action, and this is going to be a foul against Calvin's Mackenzie Shelton after the offensive rebound.
Hope didn't like that Verkuyk basically hip checked Gaddy out of bounds earlier in this half, but if they're allowed to continue to battle like that on the boards, that's advantage Hope if the referees allow physical play like that.
Yeah, it's a good move again inside, this time by Perkins. A reach-in foul. They'll send her to the line for 2. And the foul goes against Tiffany Carter, who has now picked up her second. Good release there by Elizabeth Perkins with 5 now. Calvin still clinging to the lead at 35-33, make it. Shelton inside, and that's McAfee reaching in against Timmer. And Maura McAfee picks up the foul, and Timmer will go to the line to shoot 2.
2 good possessions by Calvin after a poor start to the third quarter. Getting that layup from Shelton, and then Shelton recognizing Timmer had position. And Timmer just using that drop step to get into McAfee, who clearly is taller and has longer arms, but if you are able to use your feet and position well, you can draw the foul and end up with 2 points.
Timmer with 9 now, ties her teammate Goldthorpe for team scoring honors.
Here's the 1-2-2 that was so effective in the first half, Tom.
We haven't seen Goldthorpe yet, and just as I say that, she pops up off her chair and she's headed to the table. McAfee might have got away with a little bit of a walk there, shuffle of the feet. Calvin settling in. Timmer's kind of keeping her eye on McAfee at the moment. Anderson skipped across. Gaddy going to continue on to the bucket. Missed it wide right, and a nice block out by Timmer that time, allowing the rebound to fall to Mackenzie Shelton.
They are not going to let Calvin launch from 3 like they did earlier on. You saw them close out on Carger very quickly.
Calvin had a 3-point shot that they turned down. They'll take the second one. It's not going to get there. Referee Brian Gould indicating get up over there to Tiffany Carger, saying that wasn't a foul. And now Hope with a chance to draw a little bit closer, trailing by 4. McAfee against Timmer. Timmer plays her well. McAfee back out to Gaddy. Boy, they collapse on McAfee when she gets that ball. Everybody converges. That's a nice move inside and a bucket. That's made there by Elizabeth Perkins over Timmer.
She has really had a nice start to the second half, Tom, attacking the hoop, and good no call there, I think, by the referees, but an even better finish because there was contact on that shot by Perkins, and she was still able to go glass and put it down.
I think this is Traversa, who has picked up the shooting foul now here. We'll see it. Not really much of an attempt to get the ball in the hole by Carger. She just kind of flew it up here. This is the previous play that we saw. Carger now will shoot 2.
Timmer was there. Perkins kind of sidestepped her. So no call by the referee, but still contact and still able to make it. And Hope not getting the normal contributions that they get scoring-wise from Anderson or McAfee. And so it's been a Perkins and some of their other role players stepping up and supplying the offense for the Flying Dutchman.
1 out of 2 for Carger there after that last foul. A little bit of a zone pressure, kind of a passive press right here. That ball is out of bounds. It's going to be Calvin's basketball. Certainly, Elizabeth Perkins thought she was bumped and fouled as Timmer goes out, and Kelly Verkuyk comes back in.
We comment on the effort of Brie Lertzma, and she does a lot of little things when you watch her out there. And a couple times she's knocked the ball away and tried to knock it off a Hope player, and she was successful that time, gaining a possession for Calvin.
Verkuyk looking to jump through the hole there, forces it up and in.
There's the hometown roll. That did not look like it was going down, but Verkuyk able to get it. And that's actually a good foul right there by Goldthorpe, smartly recognizing McAfee was going to get a layup if she didn't commit the foul. Here's Perkins on that drive again. Very nice play to try and avoid the contact. And then here, count how many times, and every bit of the rim gets touched there on the bucket by Verkuyk.
Maura McAfee shooting 2, and that is an air ball. She was kind of casual on that one.
Did not bend her knees, Tom.
You know what, I've noticed this
right
about
away.
Maura before. She is a player who for some reason stands back behind the line a ways. I don't really know why you do that, unless your default setting is 15 feet 8 inches. But she makes the second one, so 1 out of 2. It's just 1 miss. Shot for 3 goes.
Tiffany Carger and Lauren Goldthorpe off the bench for Calvin have been phenomenal. That's Carter's third triple, and she's basically just come out and bombed away for them since the second quarter.
Calvin has righted the ship, up 7. We'll take a break right now. 4:52 left to go in the third here today on WGVU.
When I was 12 years old, I was watching Great Performances on PBS. This program with Nureyev came on. Nureyev in a performance of Le Corsaire, and I was amazed and awestruck. I really wanted to do it. I was street dancing at the time, and I never thought of formal dance until I saw Great Performances. I knew that I was really a novice to dance, like high dance. I decided to check out the High School Performing Arts. And so one thing led to the next. Today, as a recognized dancer, I absolutely believe that when I saw the performance, it affected me tremendously. And I know that's what happens when I teach. I'm opening an option for them that they hadn't seen before.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Moss, inviting you to start your weekday morning with a trip around the world and around West Michigan. NPR's Morning Edition and West Michigan's news, weather, and traffic. FM 88.5 Grand Rapids and 95.3 Muskegon.
Well, here's the replay of Calvin getting to the hoop. It's Callie Verkuyk. Took a while for our cameraman to wait for that ball to go down, but was able to get there. And then you just look at this shot by Tiffany Carter. She's got 10 points, Tom. She's leading all scorers right now, and she didn't enter the game until the second quarter. And we mentioned Lauren Goldthorpe going into the break. She's got 9. And for Hope, it's another kind of unsung person as Elizabeth Perkins leads her team with 8.
Calvin has built its lead here prior to these free throws coming up for Angelique Gaddy, who's going to be coming out of the game momentarily. And that's 3 misses in a row by Gaddy from the stripe, with Paris Madison waiting at the table.
You got to wonder, when does the pressure start kind of pinching on Hope? Because this is Calvin's largest lead at 7 points. Hope hasn't led since 5 minutes left in the second quarter. And right now it looks like Calvin's playing the best basketball that they've been playing in the game.
Gaddy with that point, her first of the second half, leaves with 5. I'm kind of curious as to whether or not Brian Morehouse at some point might go to a kind of a high-low offensive set with Maura McAfee out away from the basket and Buchanan down on the box against Calvin's second tallest player. Calvin trying to fight inside. Good ball movement here. Springer thought about it. Dribbled it off her foot. Still time on the shot clock. 12 seconds to go for Calvin. Trying to get a reset here. Boy, strong overplay on the left hand of Springer. Gets it out on the perimeter. Calvin's going to get a shot off just in time, and they hit it.
That's
that worked
so
out beautifully.
Brie Lertzman knows she has to shoot it almost immediately, does not have time to settle herself at all, still makes the mid-range shot. It's a very, very tough shot.
And Buchanan missed at the other end. They're going to call a held ball there, a little bit of a break. That with the reach in there by Madison Gears, she wasn't called for the foul.
And a nice play actually by Hope too, switching possession on that. And just if the ball gets loose and we have players diving on the floor, they're going to end up with it really off of Calvin, who should have cleanly rebounded that one.
Calvin has not lost its nerve here. Moving forward in the second half, got off to a slow start in the first minute and a half, but they've actually built their lead out to 8 now, and this is Spade on it. Goldthorpe is back on, maybe to provide some offense. Springer, Spade for 3. It's a long one. That ball is touched by Calvin inside Timmer, and they're going to call a foul against Buchanan. Well, that foul is almost an afterthought. It's the 3rd for Buchanan, but I think if you're Brian Morehouse, you might let it ride because there's only 13 minutes left in the game. Can she play with 3?
Well, and you saw the battle once again for the rebound. Calvin's been the one with position that still has gotten it taken away there. Hope had position, but Calvin knocking it to Timmer. She draws the foul. And it is interesting to see, will be interesting, Tom, to see how long Brian Morehouse hangs with Buchanan. even with the foul trouble, because she's been so effective for them, and he knows right now he's getting good minutes from her, and McAfee has been inconsistent so far in this game.
Now 2 free throws for Timmer, and the lead is now 10 for Calvin.
It also doesn't seem like he's comfortable playing them together. I have not seen them on the court at the same time.
Well, you might get to a point in the ball game too where Madison and Gaddy have to play together to provide some pressure on the ball against Calvin. Here is Buchanan inside, lost it. Now what do we have? It's a held ball. This will be Hope basketball this time. I will say this about Buchanan. She's not shy, and she knows that she's a scorer. She's probably the #1 scoring option in there right now, and she's looking to go. That was a little bit unfortunate for Hope, I think.
I don't know if that's a jump ball either. It seemed like it was quite a quick whistle. And I thought that Shelton took the ball right away.
Well, they're going to look and find Buchanan. Calvin has really got some defenders moving their feet. Shot clock running down. That is off the leg of the Hope player, and that's a good call that time. It was a reach in. It was knocked away from Elizabeth Perkins. Or actually Jacqueline Schwark, who didn't realize it had rolled down her leg out of bounds. And now massive substitutions, 4 new players in for Hope. Who's going to stay on? Well, Buchanan's coming out, a little bit surprising.
It's a line change by Brian Morehouse. All 4 players coming in are starters for him. The only non-starter out there right now is Paris Madison playing the point. And he wants some of his veteran and experience out there right now, as he feels kind of a turning point in this game occurring right now.
Timmer moves the ball nicely for Spade. This triple looks better, and it goes.
She was able to set her feet on that shot. Previous ones were a little off balance, and you see the result when she was able to get a cleaner look.
Hope quickly to the front court here. Are they going to try to get it to McAfee? They do. Little in and out game going on right now. This is Perkins, flies it up and in.
She's been the beneficiary. They are refusing to let McAfee shoot. And Elizabeth Perkins with 10 points, taking it upon herself to carry this Hope offense.
50-39, down to 2:30 remaining in the third. Timmer outside for 3. It looks good, and it's down.
That is not really her shot. She prefers to attack inside, but you can see the emotion that Calvin is playing under. And as I mentioned, Tom, here comes the crowd as they filter in to Venord, realizing an upset could be taking place.
Well, Calvin has made it work from distance here as the ball goes into McAfee. A rare 3-point try is up, and it's through for Traversa.
That's a huge shot from them. Traversa at 6 feet has been gunning away, not with very much success so far for Hope, and to get that shot to go down after the big 3 by Timmer, very important, because if she had missed that one, Calvin would have a chance to pad their already pretty large lead.
I'm not sure if they've called the foul here. I believe they have, which is a little bit unfortunate for Brie Lertsema. The ball was knocked out of bounds, and I thought the referee might just let it go out of bounds and change possession, but instead that's a foul that will bring Hope down to shoot 1 in the bonus here with 1:53 remaining.
You saw that 3 by Timmer, just catching and flowing, gunning. You just know that feeling when you're a player and you let it go, that it's going down from the minute it leaves your fingertips. And I think she felt that there. Calvin definitely starting to believe that they're going to win this game, or they have a great opportunity to win this game, Tom. Just playing with a ton of confidence in this quarter and shooting the ball extremely well.
Perkins, though, with a couple of free throws to make it a 9-point contest. It was 13 just moments ago. Calvin getting the ball inside, and they get a tie up here, which is going to result in Calvin keeping possession. I think the Knights, though, still are a little bit hurried on offense. They got to take up and consider the fact that they've got the lead. They've got time on the shot clock. Don't be just chasing out after the first good opportunity that comes along.
Well, Hope is turning up the defensive pressure considerably, especially Anderson, who is just hawking the ball right now, and they ended up calling a foul on her. But she and also Paris Madison, I would say along with Perkins, have really tried to get in there and steal the ball away from Calvin. They realize they need extra possessions to catch up in this one.
I'm not sure, Ryan. I thought I heard him say that that foul was against Madison, who was involved in the mix down there as well. Anderson was certainly right about it as well, but it is a foul against Hope, no question about that. And here is Calvin's Allie Spade being chased by Anderson for 3. Carger again.
She's on fire. I mean, you think about the shooting days we've seen with Jordan Brink back in the day for Calvin. Looks like we've got a foul underneath. This might be on McAfee.
That's going to be a chance for a very productive trip. They called an elbow on Angelique. Well, no, they're saying 24.
She said 24, and it looks like
I think they're talking about 23 maybe, or they got 25 out there also.
Currently, Goldthorpe, number 24 for Calvin's, at the stripe. Could have been saying that she'll be shooting the free throws.
Okay.
But it sounds like they're going to be calling the foul on Traversa down low for the clear out after the three. So you're right, Tom. This is going to be a 5-point trip for Calvin.
Well, the opportunity was there anyway for that. The free throw is missed by Goldthorpe after that last triple by Carger. Well, a 4-point trip anyway.
What a huge surge in events, because not only is Carger 4 for 5 from 3, they also get an extra free throw on top of it.
Inside, McAfee picked up the loose change there and scores.
That was very fortunate for Hope, because Madison got stripped, ended up in McAfee's hands, and she was able to finish. They need more of that from her.
That is not a well-advised shot, but Calvin somehow got the rebound. That ball was tipped into the backcourt. Spade realizes it.
That was a team heat check by Spade shooting it. They did not need that shot. Very fortunate to basically have a redo on this possession.
Springer got back to the left hand, lost it to the corner. That's out of bounds to Hope College.
Now, she's a senior, and I know that she knows her game very well, but she does the same thing almost every time, trying to spin back left, and you saw Hope was ready for it there, and they ended up coming away with the ball.
Final 40 seconds here, the third quarter. It's an 11-point Calvin lead against the number 3 team in the nation, the Hope Dutch. This ball is lost out of bounds. It was touched by Springer, the shot attempt. I think that was Traversa who tried to get that up on the glass. Springer reached right in. Calvin makes a substitution. 15 on the shot clock. Anderson throws in to McAfee. McAfee was bumped there by either Verkuyk or somebody else. They're going to say Verkuyk. And boy, Verkuyk is in a perfect position. If she gets a little lower, Ryan, she can just slap that ball away. But she kind of reached just a touch, and McAfee got bailed out, and she'll shoot a couple of free throws here. 10 now for Maura McAfee.
I might have missed it, but I did not think she was in the act of shooting. Would think that it would be a 1-and-1 if anything, but the team fouls point that that's not the case unless we were having the wrong stats up on the board. So it must be under the last 2 in the last couple minutes of the quarter that's putting them on the line.
Well, it's 2 free throws that go down for Maura McAfee. 11 in the contest now, and Calvin just trying to jam that ball inside against a taller team, and I don't think that's going to work. Chance now here. Perkins draws the foul from Mackenzie Shelton, and certainly Calvin now a little bit too quick at the offensive end. They had a chance really to run out the period there. Instead, they raced forward, turned it over, and now they got burned by it.
Elizabeth Perkins, too, even at 5'9", and she plays bigger at forward for Hope. And showing some nimble feet, avoiding some contact, because I thought Calvin in that possession or defensive set was ready to take a charge, but she was able to slip by. And the second time she's able to do so, and first time she made the hoop, and here she's at the free throw line.
Perkins misses them both. That's got to be, well, Calvin basketball thought it might be over the top there against Jacqueline Schwark.
I think the refs decided just to call out of bounds rather than the common foul.
If I'm Calvin, I make sure we don't give the ball back to Hope here. Spade going inside. That's an easy block. Not going to be enough time to get a shot off here. And the period ends. And once again, Calvin has extended the lead from 6 at halftime to 9 now with 10 minutes to go. It's 57-48. The Knights on top. More to come here today on WGV.
Are you in kindergarten, first, second, or third grade? Do you enjoy writing stories in English, Spanish, or Mandarin? Enter the very first WGVU Kids Writers Contest. going on now until March 28th. Winning authors will receive a WGVU gift bag and be entered in a drawing for Amtrak round-trip travel from Grand Rapids to Chicago. More information at wgvu.org/Writers Contest 2016.
I'm free. I'm free. And freedom tastes of reality.
So last interim, a couple of friends and I decided to go to Honduras to serve in the hospitals there. I had never had that experience where the need was like, so great compared to the number of people, and then I was actually doing something. And I think it was in Honduras where I decided that being, a healthcare worker in the community was my vocation. It was where the passion I had for helping people intersected with the need I saw in the world.
Quite often in basketball, you'll see a team put itself in a position for an upset and then suddenly lose its nerve, like they wake up and think, maybe we shouldn't be here. We'll see if Calvin Ryan can avoid that here in the final 10 minutes.
Well, it certainly helps your confidence when you're shooting 50% from three, and that's where Calvin's at after that very strong third quarter, 9 of 18 from beyond the arc.
This is Perkins, a 3-ball misses, but inside Gaddy gets a freebie.
Has found money from Hope because Gaddy at the point guard position able to out-muscle Spade and then get the bucket there. That is very fortunate for the Dutch. And I think Spade also got to know if McCaffrey's coming over, you probably don't want to try and test her. She is one of the best shot blockers in Hope College history.
I can't really tell what Spade was thinking there because she had a good look at McAfee right in front of her and just went for it anyway. This is a drive to the basketball, knocked out of bounds, but it's going to be a foul called against Calvin's Lauren Goldthorpe.
Calvin's gotten away with slapping the ball out of bounds or tying up Hope, but that doesn't mean you got to stop moving your feet on defense, Tom. And it seems like the Knights have been reaching instead of getting in front of the Hope player with the ball in the last few possessions. But if Hope wants to climb back into this one, they need to make their free throws. Their opportunities are going to be limited with under 10 minutes to go.
I think that Timmer is going to probably have to go most of the rest of the way here. She was only out for about 40 seconds to start this period, and I think right away John Ross realized that that wasn't in his team's best interest. 2 more free throws missed, but there is nobody blocking out, and Maura McAfee gets the easiest rebound she'll ever get. She just walked over and picked it up. Somebody missed out on the communication there on the block out. Gaddy outside the arc. Ball was tipped. Here's McAfee again. Gaddy thought about a 3. Tries for a difficult 2 instead. And that's Timmer. And they're going to call a travel. A little bit unfortunate. I don't really know what you do there. It's 6 and 1, half dozen of the other. 2 players bumped going for the rebound. They were both entitled to it. And Timmer just couldn't keep her feet.
I think that's actually the right call. They both touched the ball. Timmer actually ripped away from McAfee. Unfortunately, couldn't keep her balance. And if you fall to the floor like that, it is going to be a travel.
Calvin recovers on the inbounds, though. The Knights getting a lift from their crowd right now, but this is Perkins who goes inside, missed the shot, and now a Calvin rebound and a foul by McAfee against Brie Lertsema.
Well, here comes the students. Calvin's student section all standing up and starting to get into this game, and Lertsema just taking it upon herself and just grabbing the ball and not letting go, drawing the foul against Hope, and that's almost as good as anything the Knights could do to settle things down and just get possession back.
For Kike right now, almost ran out of space on the sideline. Calvin is loose with that basketball right now, but here's Timmer, and then she turns it over. And here comes Hope on the run. Gaddy looking to go all the way down, leaps inside and scores.
Gaddy with a similar move to the way she ended the first quarter for Hope, taking it coast to coast, and John Ross instantly recognizes that he needs to take a timeout and talk about it.
We'll take a break ourselves. 5-point ball game now. More to come here on WGVU.
PBS is the place you should go first. There are no advertisers to be satisfied, only an audience to be satisfied.
We take our responsibility as journalists very seriously.
At the NewsHour, we are after the facts and only the facts.
WGVU has a new cool teacher. It's Mrs. Savage, first grade teacher at Sonoma Elementary in Battle Creek.
Mrs. Savage is a cool teacher. She helps us with math and she does so many crafts, and Mrs. Savage loves us.
Check out WGVU.org to find out how you can enter the Cool Teacher Contest. Winners get a Papa John's pizza party for their class.
Thank you, WGVU.
The Cool Teacher Contest is sponsored by these organizations.
At Hope, it's mind, body, and spirit. Hope. We live for this.
Well, Angelique Gaddy wanting to get to the rim. She ducked up and under that time. Pretty good position by Verkuyk, but she didn't anticipate the little shimmy there by Gaddy, who got the bucket to make it an 8-0 run for Hope to cut the margin to just 5.
We talked about what Calvin would do. I think you talked about to open the quarter, Tom. Were they going to go for the kill, or were they going to get in their own head with this lead and the opportunity to upset undefeated Hope? Seems so far they've been in their own heads to start the fourth quarter.
Boy, Calvin turned it over again. Calvin just not recognizing that that middle is really jammed up. They keep trying to get it, smash it down there against a taller team, and it hasn't worked out at all.
They're just getting too close to each other, and that's a spacing issue that I think Coach Ross probably addressed in the timeout, but the team just wasn't able to solve it on that possession.
Calvin gets a rebound off that jump shot miss by Perkins, and let's see if Calvin can find a way to score a goal here. They leap inside. Carger, no, that's tipped out of bounds. It's Calvin basketball, I believe. John Ross is going to switch it up. He's going to get Shelton into the game, and also I think Goldthorpe being in should help. She's an offensive threat. Timmer might get a little additional space now.
Well, when you're 4 of 6 from 3 like Carger is, you get a chance maybe to get to the basket as her defender closed out on her very, very quickly. Just wasn't able to get the shot to go down. And now, interesting, you see a lot of second unit players from Hope out there with 7 minutes to go. Calvin countering with most of their starters, except for Goldthorpe, who's been one of their better players today, regardless.
McAfee is out, Terp, right now, and Buchanan's back in. That's a leaner that will not go. Nice rebound for Calvin. Outside, uncontested 3, and at last, there's an answer for Kelly Verkuyk.
What a shot by her. Not known as one of their more prolific three-point shooters, but she was wide open and made it count. And here comes Calvin turning up the defensive pressure.
Well, Calvin's taking a chance here. Ball up ahead of the crowd. The shot won't go. Second opportunity does. And again, it's Verkuyk. And just like that, a 10-point contest with 6.5 to go. That's a good move down. And boy, they're calling a foul on Timmer there, who took it in the chops.
Oh yeah, she might have gotten hit either in the nose or in the teeth. I would not be surprised if we see a little blood there. She took an elbow right into the face.
Well,
but look at this. But Callie Verkuyk, who hits the 3 down in the other end, she stays with it, and even with contact finishing. And what a 5-point burst by her after Calvin was trying to break down a Hope 8-0 run.
Free throw goes for Hope's Madison Gears. If Timmer had just gotten out of the way, Gears was completely running underneath the basket. Had zero chance of making that shot there. And it was very little contact. It was tough call for Timmer.
Tough call for Timmer, not only because they gave up free throws, but She took one hard. Got her bell rung probably a little bit in addition to getting a foul called.
8-point ball game now. Calvin's still on top. A chance here for the Knights going inside and scoring is Brie Lertsma.
And there's Lertsma with a soft touch. I think sometimes Calvin got a little bit too much adrenaline around the basket, but there she was able to put a ball up softly and got the roll.
This is Buchanan guarded by Timmer. Hope slows it down a little bit now. Anderson looking inside. This is the matchup they want. Buchanan missed with the left hand. And now Brian Morehouse starting to get concerned. Calvin on the move again, feeling a little bit more confident. Timmer. Calvin's got to run some clock too. That wouldn't hurt. Just settle the game down a little bit. Be confident in possession. Calvin outside. Triple try on the way and through. And it's Lauren Goldthorpe again.
She is 3 for 3 from 3. And Goldthorpe with what has amounted to a tremendous effort off the bench. And here comes Calvin with numbers.
Down inside Calvin again. That's going to be a foul. That will go against Hopes.
I believe it's going to be on Madison Gears.
I think you're right.
Good block, but she hit Lertsma in the head. And there's Goldthorpe, who has just exploded off the bench for Calvin. She's got 13. Another one of her fellow benchmates, Tiffany, Carter, also has 13. And then Anna Timmer leading them with 14.
Well, that's a big free throw miss right there, because Calvin could have gone from a 5-point lead to a 15-point lead in about maybe a minute and a half.
Well, we've discussed being able to stop runs here, Tom, and no more TV timeouts the rest of the way, so the coaches need to know when is a good time. And you're thinking from a Hope standpoint, down 14, if you make a basket and want to call a timeout, or if you are trying to save a possession, those timeouts are now in limited supply.
Well, Calvin tipped that ball out of bounds. Let's make sure that Traversa realized, well, she just tosses it inbounds there. She was frozen on that second inbound play. And here comes Hope again, and they were lucky not to lose it here. It's going to be Maura McAfee inside after the nice recovery there by Angelique Gaddy.
And they had some turnovers, Hope has, in the possessions. And another open three from Calvin.
That was not advisable in my mind. And what do we have here? It's going to be a Calvin foul, I think, against Timmer.
Spade was wide open, but she is 1 for 7 from beyond the arc now. And as you pointed out, Tom, it might be more valuable just to take 20 seconds off the clock. Even if you do have a look, it's a look from about 22 feet away.
Well, in football, you'd call that a down and distance situation. You know, you don't heave it down the field when it's 2nd down and 50, and when you're ahead by 12 points with 5 minutes remaining, it's got to be a perfect 3-point shot opportunity to take in that situation.
Calvin turning up the pressure here, which you like to see, because it forces Hope to take some time in the offensive set. And that's what Calvin needs to see, is that clock continue to tick.
McAfee, high post. Calvin still jumping out and switching nicely. Shot clock at 7, a tip ball. And this is important because Calvin had to get Timmer out of the ball game because of her foul situation. So now we're ticking down toward 4 minutes remaining. Tiffany Carter, who has been big, Goldthorpe as well. And that's just a loose ball there. Calvin exceedingly fortunate to get that one back. This time Spade goes left hand and can't make it. And Hope has the door open again. Anderson thought about a 3.
Yeah, there's a foul. Verkuyk reached on Anderson, and
Timmer's going to come back into the game. Not sure for whom just yet. Calvin's making a couple of substitutions here.
I'd say based on the foul situation now, Hope's going to be in the bonus the rest of the way. Calvin pretty far from the bonus. That means Hope, if they want to force free throws, is going to have to try and foul. Wouldn't be a bad time to get fairly aggressive on the defensive end, because you can afford.
Well, the fans thought that was over and back, but actually Gaddy caught that ball when she was standing on the half-court line. Anderson threw that ball away. She was looking for Gaddy to spring out to the wing. You see a lot of teams run that play. Anderson's kind of throwing it on Hope, and a prayer that her player is going to be there, and she wasn't. So Calvin gets it after the turnover with 3:45 remaining.
Well, fortunate for Calvin, Springer, who was lunging to intercept the ball, didn't get there in time. Otherwise, it might have been tipped off of her.
Oh, that was such a fantastic play there by Mackenzie Shelton, but she gave it up after she beat her defender and turned it over. Inside it comes here. McAfee spins. No. That ball was knocked away from Timmer. She thought she had been fouled. I'm somewhat inclined to agree. Hope's got it back now with 3:20 to go. Gaddy inside will score.
Very nice play. Screen up top by Traversa. Gaddy catches and goes right to the rack.
This is where Calvin really has to stay calm. And look at this, going all the way down to the basket and scoring is Springer. So much for being calm.
Well, Springer, a senior, is in there right now because of her experience, and she's had some struggles with the ball, but not there.
Calvin does not have to shoot the ball here. Just have to hang on. Oh, Carger again. Are you kidding me?
She can shoot it all day long. 5 out of 7 from 3. She's allowed to take a shot whenever she wants.
With 2:43 to go, Calvin is up 15. And a timeout taken here, so we'll keep it right here for this one.
Well, and here comes the flag as the crowd is ready. But if you're just joining us before the men start, Tiffany Carger's been putting on a three-point shooting show, and there's a bucket from Springer. Big senior move by her. But Carger off the bench, pretty much from the second quarter on, Tom, has been a force for Calvin. Now leads them with 16 points. But the real big stat, 5 out of 7, is the number that you want, that stands out to you from beyond the arc. It's just when you're feeling it, you're feeling it. And if you're a shooter, you know that when you've got confidence, anytime the ball leaves your hands, that you think it's going down, that's a great place to be, and no better time to have that feeling than when you're trying to upset the undefeated #3 team in the country.
I think Calvin might have enough now to get them over the finish line. They're just going to have to protect the ball when they get it back. Here's Gaddy looking to go. Boy, oh boy, that was not a lot there to that one. Mackenzie Shelton, I mean, Gaddy does the right thing. She goes to the basket. And that looked to me like the hand of one of the taller players was right on the ball there, but it's a 2-shot foul with 2:37 to go.
Excuse me, Tom, but this is a spot where John Ross needs to tell his folks straight up, but don't go for the strip, don't go for the block. Make them beat you by making the goal. Do not give them an opportunity for a three-point play.
Gaddy has had a poor day at the free throw line. She's played pretty well otherwise, but free throws have been elusive for her in this contest. That would have been a great start for a comeback for Hope right there. Now she's going to have to settle for just this one. And she gets it. So Gaddy with a dozen. Let's see what Springer can do in the backcourt. She's got Timmer there to help her. Springer's okay out in the middle of the court. She's got good wheels, looking to go all the way. And boy, that was a very, very loose pass by Calvin. I don't know why they were trying to do that. They just got to hang on to the basketball, and that's better from Springer out to Timmer. Shot clock at 10. Plenty of time for Calvin. Springer again. Even if they don't get a shot off here, which they will with Timmer, who scores. Now that might be the final nail.
I would agree with you, Tom, that just a shot clock violation would be fine, but Timmer with the left hand with just the bonus basically for Calvin.
Autumn Anderson for 3 for Hope. And a quick timeout by Morehouse.
And this is where having no more TV timeouts is going to affect Morehouse. Eventually, they're going to run out, and I think that Hope only has 1 timeout left. Autumn Anderson 2 for 4 from 3, but unfortunately, that's her second 3 from the first quarter. Just not very much from the normal contributors on Hope's offensive side, and I think that's why you see a team, Tom, that's gone over the century mark in points. They've scored over 100 a number of times this season. They've only got 62.
Well, that last possession here with the clock running down, they loop it inside to Timmer, who rolled away from McAfee. And really, I think if you're Calvin right now, you might think about this. What matchup can you win out there on the ball? And for me, I think it's Timmer. Bring her out, let her handle it. If McAfee is going to chase her, so be it. But you want to keep the ball away from whoever Gaddy is guarding for starters, and probably Anderson as well. So let's see if Timmer gets involved in the handling here. Let's see if Calvin goes for the home run ball here.
I would agree. I think that Gaddy is the most likely player to get a steal for Hope. But it does look like Hope's going to come out, and even with 2 team fouls, they're going to try and get Calvin to the line, though it didn't really look like Hedrick was trying to steal the ball there. She was just trying to foul Lertzma.
I think they're trying to get to the bonus situation. Now they go home run ball, and that was a grab of the jersey that the referees didn't see. Calvin looking to score, and it's a 2-shot foul this time. That's a nice adjustment by Calvin, because Hope was prepared to foul him 3 times in the backcourt just to force the bonus situation. So Calvin reads it. They go long, and now an opportunity for 2 free throws here for Brie Lertzma.
She's had a really, really nice game, Tom, and this will be point number 10 for her, but also 8 rebounds, 4 assists, just contributing across the stat sheet, and also playing undersized the entire game against the defenders that she's had to face from Hope.
Calvin moves back out to a 15-point lead. 4 double-figure scores for the Knights. Gaddy slides through and scores. That's conceded.
And that's fine. Calvin just needs to get it in the hand of their free throw shooters.
No malice intended on that foul there. Gaddy came over and tapped Springer, and that's going to be a common foul still, so not yet to the bonus. Well, that's the 5th foul, so it is now 1-1. So Springer, who hasn't had a chance from the line, has an opportunity here. Calvin would be happy playing keep away at this point of the contest. All they have to do is hang on, run the shot clock, and they will have an epic upset in this series.
And here's the part in your career that you've dreamed of. You have a chance to upset the number 3 team in the country. They're undefeated. They're also your bitter rival. And all you need to do is knock down a couple of free throws.
And Springer has done exactly that, Terp. 6 points for her in the contest.
Big senior moment for her. I mean, she had been entrusted to try and help run this offense in this upset. And it's not been an easy task. And now it's her moment to kind of enjoy this out on the court as she'll be fouled again and take another trip back to the free throw line.
Well, Hope has done exceedingly well here, I think, in the last 2.5 minutes of scoring quickly and stopping the clock. They've got it back to a 12-point game now. I was about to say a miss there, and it was pretty much dead and buried, but now Calvin's going to have to continue shooting free throws. Springer's too hard on that one as Traversa comes back into the contest, and Allison Hedrick will go out. I think it might be a good idea for Calvin to come with a little bit of token pressure, or maybe force the ball out of the hands of Gaddy here if they get a chance. Second free throw rolls around and drops for Calvin.
That's a smart timeout by John Ross, because I think he's going to tell his team exactly what you're suggesting, Tom, is let's get some token pressure out there, allow them to go to the basket if they want to, but do not foul the shooter. Make sure that they take maybe 10 seconds off this clock, because that's really what we need to do, is make sure that Hope doesn't have an easy way to score and then foul with not very much time. And I think that maybe doubling Gaddy and getting out of her hands, because she's been so effective, has been important. But here's another look at that. I would say what sealed it for Calvin, that final 3 by Tiffany Carter, knocking it down, and such a huge game from her. But anytime it seemed that Hope had a big run in them, Calvin was able to answer, Tom, and that's not what you expect from the underdog. They much more as a team have been playing like the favorite.
Calvin with token defensive pressure. I'm surprised they're letting Gaddy go. They get it to McAfee. She knocked it out of bounds. Boy, I thought that ball might have gone off McAfee last, and the officials disagree. So now we're down to the final 77 seconds. It's not over and done with just yet. This is McAfee, guarded by Timmer. She doesn't want to handle it. Anderson. Gaddy way outside. That's a tough 3, and it's through. Wow. 20 for her. Talk about it not being over, and very nearly a steal, and that's going to be a Hope foul against McAfee, who slams the floor. I don't think she's mad at the referee. She's just a bit frustrated. And all in all, I would have to say it's a foul I would agree with probably Ryan.
Brian Morehouse is angry with the referee, I can tell you that.
Where are they going with this? They're calling this foul against Calvin?
Nope, that is. They're going to call it on Lertsma.
Wow, that is shocking to me.
Hope protesting until I think the referee clarified, and now the students have discovered what's going on.
I thought that McAfee went through the Calvin player to get to the basketball there.
I mean, it's not going to affect the outcome of the game, you wouldn't think. And there's the nice three by Gaddy, who's just had a tremendous fourth quarter. But yes, I would be. I'm questioning where that would be a foul on Lertsma, who actually had the ball first before she was bumped. But as it stands, she'll be heading to the free throw line anyway.
Well, it's going to be Springer.
Oh, they called it before she received the ball. This is fine by Calvin's standpoint because hey, you look at Abby Springer, who's 3 for 4 from the line.
Springer now with 8 in the contest. Traversa comes in and Hedrick goes out. And again, I think if you're Calvin, I would put a little more pressure on the ball. Don't let him just blitz it up the court and get it into McAfee, or let Gaddy shoot a 3.
They came with some token pressure last time, Tom, as you said. It took
Well,
Hope
they're
a couple
backing
of players to finally get the shot off. Let's see if they get one a little bit quicker this time.
Wow, Traversa for 3. That's
Yeah, but
and
now
now another foul.
If you're Calvin, it's 6. You just got to stay calm, make your free throws, but Hope definitely feeling a little bit more confident in this one. And when you're knocking down threes like that, I mean, percentage-wise, it should be coming around because Calvin shot so well this whole game, and Hope now up to 40% from beyond the arc. And
Calvin has missed another free throw here. They need one to make it a 3-possession game, but I think what we're seeing right now from Calvin Terp is that they're playing a prevent defense, and they're almost on the verge of preventing themselves from winning because they're backing right up into their goal. And that is 2 misses.
Oftentimes you see teams go to a 3-2 zone in this instance to not allow 3-point shots. They'll concede the 2. Calvin deciding to stick with man-to-man.
That was an air ball thrown up by Traversa, who hurried a little bit. They really didn't need to go that quickly. Only 2-possession ball game.
It is with 41 seconds. There is room, especially with it, being 6, Tom. But Hope trying to get something done here. Now Anna Timmer having a chance to add to the 16 points she's already scored.
Well, I'm going to go back to one play in this contest, the foul that was called in the middle of the court when there was the collision there that involved McAfee, and I thought for certain it was a foul against McAfee. You think about that, Ryan. That's a 4-point switch right there, potentially. 2 free throws that Calvin didn't get and 2 that Hope did make. So let's see if Timmer can hold her nerve here.
Well, and of course, I poo-pooed that call because of the given score, but you're absolutely right, Tom. Turned out to be a factor because now this crowd kind of holding their breath, but Timmer giving him a chance to relax a little bit as she knocks down the first free throw.
I think if you're Calvin, why wouldn't you try to defend a little bit? Timmer's got them both.
I think they're just afraid of committing a foul very far from the basket, but I would not allow any sort of long shot.
That's a 3 that's wild and off, and it's a rebound for Timmer. Just have to hang on to it. Oh my goodness gracious. Well, they called a held ball, which there were people clawing the skin off Anna Timmer that time.
She's gonna have some battle scars from this game. I mean, she's gonna maybe have to explain to a future child, like, where did mommy get this scar? Be like, well, that's when mommy upsetted the number 3 team in the country, and she earned that one.
That's a little bump there by Anderson with 23 seconds remaining. So now we'll get Traversa back on. This has turned into a little bit of an offensive basketball game. Both teams likely to hit 80 in this contest. And it will be Allie Spade at the line to shoot 2 here. And that's a big free throw right there to make it 9. One more and it's beyond 3 possessions. Spade, well, at least you got the clock going here for Calvin. 9-point lead, 20 seconds to go. Gaddy's going to force up a three. That's not going to go, and that should just about do it.
Yep.
Very quickly, a foul against that will send Kelly Verkuyk to the line. And Calvin now, I think, can finally breathe easier. It looks as though they've got the win that will spoil the perfect season for Hope. 24-0 coming in were the Dutch, but Calvin came out throwing leather early on in this contest, Terp, and they were never afraid.
I thought they came out with a really good defensive game plan, Tom. They had pressure off of makes. They switched well against Hope's top players, and they also double-teamed McCaffey. Did not allow her to ever get comfortable in this one, but it says something that they also made shots. And when you're 54% from three, and you have somebody like Tiffany Carger who is able to go 5 for 7, that's going to be a recipe for success if you want to upset a team as talented as Hope, and that's what Calvin has done today.
Well, Gaddy draws a foul with 10 seconds left. It's not going to matter now. And that is going to be the 5th personal foul against Kelly Verkuyk, who came up with 2 very big baskets when Hope was rallying here in the second half. And a real nice move by John Ross to get Gina Siebesma into the contest, one of the seniors here on the last day of her career on campus. She'll get a little bit of a run out, and she'll be able to finish this game on the court the day that Calvin upset Hope in 2016. Well, Gaddy has sure gotten rich here at the end, but it's not going to make a difference now. 9-point ball game. The ball comes in quickly, and I think it's time to call off the Dogs. If you're Hope, just let it go and lick your wounds. Get prepared for the tournament next week.
This will be very interesting because, as we pointed out, Calvin's second in the MIAA. These two teams very likely to meet again in the tournament. And convincing wins on both sides. Hope earlier this year, and now Calvin here, I think you would have to say, was the better team today from start to finish. And anything can happen come tournament time. And maybe this is a wake-up call for Hope. Maybe this is where Calvin uses a victory like this to springboard their way into a postseason run. And now the curtain call for the senior Springer. Another classy move by John Ross.
And will be that might be the last shot that goes up here. Finally one at the buzzer that doesn't go. And Calvin has the upset victory, knocking off the Flying Dutch 88-87. I want to acknowledge for Calvin that John Ross also got Becca Richards into the game right at the very last there, and the Dutch have seen their chance to finish undefeated go up in smoke. Calvin exultant after that big win here today on its home court, knocking Hope from the ranks of the unbeatens here by winning today 88-77. Ryan Terpstra has gone down on the court. We hope to get a word with perhaps one of the players for Calvin. Maybe John Ross will stop by to chat with us as well. We're running a little bit behind here now. So Ryan Terpstra's out there right now, and he's got Tiffany Carger, the long shooting star of this contest.
Tiffany, congratulations first and foremost on a win like this. For you, what's the feeling to end the regular season upsetting the #3 team in the country?
I mean, it feels amazing, especially being a senior, being like the last time you play in this arena. I just wanted to go out with a bang, and that's what we did. So
not often. I mean, you dream about it, to have that feeling that anything you throw up there's going in. What's that like in an atmosphere like this?
It's amazing, especially having your family, your team, and just everyone around just cheering you on. It's like the best feeling in the world, especially for a basketball player. So
well, congratulations, great win and great play out there.
Thank you so much.
All right, back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you, Ryan Terpstra. Well, in the contest today, it was Angelique Gaddy who led all scorers with 22. Most of those, I would say, or a good portion of those, coming after the issue had been fairly settled. 15 for Maura McAfee. It's Anna Timmer with 18. Tiffany Carger with 16 for Calvin. Once again, Calvin wins it today over Hope in the women's game, 88-7. Stick around, still a lot more to come here today from Calvin on WGVU.
Every great rivalry has stories, and Calvin and Hope are no different. Our first story comes from 1917. Hope College had a basketball team. Calvin did not. So a group of Calvin students formed a squad to go play Hope. The Flying Dutchman beat them soundly, and those same Calvin students returned to campus defeated, in trouble with the administration, and partially responsible for starting one of the greatest college basketball rivalries in NCAA history.